name is Mackenzie, and today I'll be taking you through some quick interval workouts. So we're going to go ahead and start with a warm-up. You won't need any equipment for this part. If you would like, you can have a mat because we will be doing some core work on the ground towards the end of our workout today. But other than that, it'll be all body weight movements. And we'll do a quick warm-up, get in a little bit of stretching, and then we'll get into the body for today. So we're going to start with a warm-up for a Tabata. So that means 20 seconds of work, followed by 10 seconds of rest. And we'll be doing side shuffles and side lunges to get us ready for today. So the side shuffles, you'll need a couple feet of space for this, but it'll just be, we'll get down, slight bend in the knees, shuffle over, and then optional, you can add, once you get to one side, a tap to the ground. We just want to make sure that when we're tapping the ground, that we're keeping the chest up. We're not bending over to tap the ground. We're doing it in a nice squat, keeping the chest nice and high. And then we'll head back to the other side. And if you want to start out like this is great, especially because our bodies are not quite ready yet. So maybe consider doing the first round like this, but then later on we can start to pick it up a little bit, get the heart rate up a little bit more, and you can add in a bit of a hop on either side. But those will be our that'll be our first movement. Option is also, if you don't want to add in a hop, you're more than welcome just to go to the side, and you can maybe even add in a calf raise if you don't quite want to go down, or it's just not feeling good for your body today. But just walking side to side would be a modification for that. And then our side lunges, you can treat this however you want to. If you want to use it, maybe at first, do it just a little bit more stretching. So just going on one side for a few seconds, and then the other. You're more than welcome to do that, and you're more than welcome to stay there for the entirety of the warm-up. Or if you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can add in a bit of a side lunge. So going a little bit lower, focusing on keeping the chest up. Weight is going to be in the heels on these movements. You can also, if you want to just take it lower in general, use it as a stretch. You can walk your hands along the ground to go from side to side. Just whatever is going to feel best for your body today. It's not so much about the quantity of movements during the warm-ups, about the quality and getting your body ready for what we have planned today. So we'll go ahead and get started again. It's going to be Tabata, so that means we're going to do 4 rounds of each movement. And we're actually going to do it, so we're going to go all 4 side shuffles, and then we'll go all 4 side lunges. So I'll kind of help you, remind you there, but it's going to be 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. And again, this is the warm-up. So take it a little bit slower if you want to, and then gradually increase in intensity as we go. So let's start with those side shuffles in 3, 2, 1. So coming down, going side to side. Again, you can always just step side to side for this first round or 2. Nice, over halfway. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay, we're taking a 10-second rest, and then normally we alternate with the movements, but today we're going to stick with the side shuffles. So do 4 rounds of side shuffles, then 4 rounds of side lunges, and we're going again. The key, we also want to try to be light on our feet. We don't want our feet to be pounding. And rest. Feel free to stretch anything you need to in this little break. Shake out the arms, legs. Going again in 3, 2, 1. Should feel your heart rate picking up a little bit now. And rest. Okay, one more round here, then we're gonna switch to our side lunges. Should be feeling pretty warm now. And go. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, now we're we're switching to those side lunges. So again, feel free, use maybe the first round or two, a bit more stretching, and then go more into activating those muscles. But let's get started. Just a few seconds on each side. If you even wanted to add in hip circles to go from one side to the other. 3, 2, 1, rest. And 3, 2, 1. Maybe going a little bit deeper. I'm gonna walk the hands over. Again, we're trying to stay at as low as you can while staying in the heels and ideally trying to have the chest high. 3, 2, 1. Stretch out, maybe add in a few twists. 2 more rounds, and go. You might find that this gets easier as we go. You might also find that you have one side that's a little bit easier than the other, and that's normal. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, last round. And 3, 2, 1. And rest. Okay, I'm just gonna take a few more stretches. We're not gonna hold these stretches for too long, just kind of getting the body ready here. Well, let's go ahead and start. Let's go with a forward fold. Go down as far as you can, just let the body relax with the hang. Maybe twist side to side. You can grab your arms. And then from here, we're just gonna roll slowly up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let's get a quad stretch. So you're gonna go same arm, same leg, trying to get the knees together, really pushing that hip forward to get a deep quad stretch. Holding here for a few seconds. Let's jog it out. Switch sides. And let's do that one more time. Jog it out. Back to the original side here. And if you want to hold these stretches for a little bit longer than I am, feel free to, but let's just not hold them too long. We want to keep our muscles activated. We don't want them relaxing just quite yet. And then let's take it into a figure 4. So hand on the knee, hand on the ankle. A little bit of bounce here. We're just going to flex the foot, pull the knee up, drop it down, switch sides. Pull the knee up, nice tall chest when we do these. Back one more round each side. Let's get in some arm circles now. Let's start backwards. Big arm circles, nice and slow here. And so just go forward here, just getting those arms ready. Maybe go across the body, trying to keep that shoulder down. We don't want it to come up, we want to try to hold it down. And switch. Back to the first side again. So we're moving really quickly through these, but that's okay. We're just trying to loosen up a few more muscles. Then let's take it overhead. So trying to get arm on the elbow, just pulling slightly backwards, trying to keep the rib cage down. We don't want to extend. We want to try to keep the rib cage down. Core engaged. And switch. Let's go back to the first side again. And switch one more time. Okay, and now if you feel like you have anything else that you need to stretch, feel free, go for it. I'm gonna go start explaining what we have for our movements today. But feel free to keep stretching. If you feel like you're ready to go a little bit earlier than I am, when I'm still explaining, feel free. Let's start doing some jumping jacks. So just hands overhead, feet together, like this. Modification would be stepping one foot out and then the other, because we want to kind of keep our heart rate up here. So if you feel like you're done stretching and I'm not quite done explaining, feel free. Let's get some jumping jacks in. Also, you can grab some water now. But so for our first block today, we only have 2. Our first block is going to be 3 rounds of 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. So one of the things is, because we have such a long rest, we want our 30 seconds of work to be super high intensity. We want to try to move for the entirety of that 30 seconds and moving with a purpose. So we want to try to keep our heart rate up, and we want to need that rest at the end of the 30 seconds. So you should be going pretty hard. You should be working harder than you want to here because you have such a long rest. So we have 4 movements. We have burpees. You really get that heart rate up. So I say this all the time, but I don't care how pretty it looks. You are just getting on the ground and getting back up again. So our first modification would just be stepping down into the plank, holding for a second, stepping up, and then either adding a hop or a calf raise, depending on how much of an impact you want to have today, or how much of an impact on your body you are feeling like today. Next modification, you can step down, chest touches the ground. It doesn't have to be a full push-up, just chest touches the ground, step back up, hop, or hop down, hop up, or any combination thereof. That's going to be our first movement. Our second movement is going to be a plank. So either from the forearms or from the hands, we're going to have our hands under our shoulders and just holding here. So this is also going to be part of our recovery. So it's really going to be cardio focused, this first block, with some movements in between to help us kind of get back our breath. But one of the challenges is both of these movements are going to be movements where we're holding a position and your body doesn't want to breathe when it's holding. So that's going to be one of the challenges today, is forcing yourself to breathe while still maintaining that good form. Again, we want a nice straight line from the head to the feet and engaging the glutes, engaging the quads. You can also drop down to the knees, and that's the same thing. We still want to be engaging the quads and the glutes here. Really trying to make that core nice and tight. Then we're coming back up for another cardio movement. We have jump squats here. So first modification is just to do air squats with a calf raise. So for those, our feet are going to be about shoulder distance apart, toes are going to be slightly out. We're going to brace the core so that we can keep our body, upper body in a nice straight line, then send the hips back and the knees out, and then coming back up. So ideally we are trying to get our hip crease below our knees, but if that is not, maybe not in the cards today, that's okay. We still want to keep moving. So the option would be coming down to a quarter squat and then always adding that calf raise, making sure that we're getting full extension. And then if you want to take it up a notch, we can add in a hop. So we're going to come down and then explode off the ground, absorb the impact going into another squat and coming back up. And you can do that continuously, or maybe we can do 2 air squats, then 1 jump squat, if you need a little bit of something in between. So really try to push yourself again today though, because it is a short time that we're moving. We want these to be really intense workouts because you have a rest. And then our last movement is going to be a bridge. So if you want to master this last movement, feel free. But we're going to have our heels just out of reach of our hands. We're going to really push through the heels here, engage the core, engage the glutes, and we're just going to hold up here. So you should feel it in the glutes and in the hamstrings. If you feel it in the lower back, maybe try tilting the pelvis under. We're going to try to lift our hips as high as we can, and we're just going to hold this position. An option for a bit of a challenge is maybe for the second and third rounds, maybe try doing a single leg hold. So your other leg will be up in the air, and we'll just hold on one leg for the entire 30 seconds for one round, and then switch legs for the other round. That's our first block. Again, we have very short intervals and a lot of rest, so we want to try to be moving with a purpose, with high intensity, working harder than we want to today. So, again, we're starting with the burpees, then going to planks, jump squats, bridge, and starting right back up at the top again for 3 rounds. So let's get started with those burpees in 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Halfway. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay, nice work. So 30 seconds rest here. Then we're starting with a plank. But for all of these movements, feel free, go at your own pace. Pick a pace that's going to be challenging for you, but that you can maintain for the entire 30 seconds. Whether that's faster than me, slower than me, it's all depends on you. And we're starting a plank in 3, 2, 1. So key here, we also want to try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Just holding here. Remembering to breathe. Five seconds left. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. 30 seconds. Then we have our jump squats. Really use this time, get that breath back so you can have high, purposeful movements, high intensity movements here. We have 5 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, go. And the key here is we want to land nice and softly. We don't want to be slamming down. We want to really use our muscles to control our descent. Halfway. Five seconds left. You got it. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Nice work. Next movement is going to be that bridge. $15 seconds here. Okay, 5. And 3, 2, 1. Hold. You can have your arms by your side, on the stomach, whichever is most comfortable for you. Again, remember really pushing through those heels, trying to engage the glutes and the hamstrings here. In 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Okay, 30 seconds, then we're starting from the top. So kind of use that first round as a gauge. Say, okay, maybe I need to step off a little bit so I can maintain these movements for 30 seconds. Or maybe say, okay, maybe I can go a little bit faster for this time. We're going in 5 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. Halfway. Keep going. Nice work. Feel free to grab water in between these breaks. You have 15 seconds. 5. Going back to that plank in 3, 2, 1. Making sure that we're breathing here. We're halfway. 3, 2, 1. Rest. So the really great thing is we only have to do burpees and planks one more time today. We're halfway through with this first block. We have those jump squats left and bridges for this round. And we're starting in 10 seconds. 5, and 3, 2, 1. Jump squats. Another thing with the jump squats, we want to make sure that we're landing on both feet at the same time. We don't want to be landing one and then on the other. We want to stay nice, even, taking off with both feet, landing with both feet. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Okay, coming down for that bridge. You're more than welcome to do any stretches in between. For about 15 seconds here. And here, you do have the option, you can do one leg for the entire 30 seconds if you want to try to challenge yourself. So let's go in 3, 2, 1. Still trying to lift those hips as high as you can, whether you're with both legs or just one. And try to keep your hips even. We don't want one side coming up or down. We want to try to keep them even if you are just doing one leg. We're over halfway. And 3, 2, 1, rest. So remember, like you did for this round, if you chose to do one leg, make sure you do the opposite for the next round. But we're about to start our last round for this block, and then we have a quick little core finisher at the end. We have 10 seconds here, then we're starting with the burpees. For our last round of burpees. So try to make this your fastest round yet. In 3, 2, 1. Over halfway. Keep going. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Whew. Nice work. We have our plank next in 20 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds here. And in 3, 2, 1. Over halfway now. Less than 10 seconds left. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. Okay, 30 seconds. Then we just have 2 movements left, jump squats and our bridge. So 1 more minute of movement, then we're done with this block, done with our cardio. And in 10 seconds. Jump squats in 3, 2, 1. Making sure that our knees are going out too. We don't want them falling in on the takeoff or on the landing. We want to really use our glutes to push those knees out. Over halfway. And 5 seconds left. You got this. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Nice work. We're done with cardio now. We just have our bridges. Then we'll take a break. I'll go through our next movements and we'll be done. Ten seconds. And in 3, 2, 1. Remember to use the opposite leg if you're choosing to do single legs that you used for the last round. Keeping those hips nice, high, and even. We're halfway through. And 3, 2, 1. Rest. Nice work. Okay, this last little block is going to be a core block, so if you have a mat and you want to use it, feel free to bring it out now. But for this last block, we'll have 3 rounds again, but this time it'll be 20 seconds on and 10 seconds of rest. So we want to try to maintain this tension, keep our core under tension for a longer ratio of time here. So we have crunches, leg circles, and painful penguins. So that's going to work. First movement is going to be crunches, so you can either choose to have your feet on the mat or up in the air. I find that it's a little bit easier on my lower back and on my hip flexors if I keep my legs down. And then you can either cross the arms over the chest or have them down by your side. But we're just trying to lift the shoulder blades off the ground. And the key here is you want to think about a string attached to your chest that's pulling you up rather than pulling you forward. You want to think about coming up rather than curling forward. Modification for that would just be maybe reducing the amount of distance that you come up. So if you want to challenge yourself, so you try to come up, bring the shoulder blades completely off the ground. And then our next movement, we'll be doing leg circles to the right. So the first option is to have the feet together, knees at about 90 degrees. You can either lift the head up or let it relax, but we just want to make sure that we're keeping the lower back on the ground. But we're just going to go to the right. You can have the arms out to the side to help brace you, but to the right, just in small circles. And then to make this more challenging, you can either have one leg out or both. Just trying to do nice little circles. The key here is, and how you'll determine your modification, is at what level can you keep your lower back fully on the ground. Once you feel it start peaking up, then maybe we want to scale down a little bit because we don't want to be using our lower back to these movements. We want to be using the abs. And then we have our painful penguins, so we'll be in the same position as our crunches. We're going to lift up, engage the core, and then we're going to go side to side, tapping one heel and then the other while staying up. To make this a little bit easier, you can bring the heels closer, a little bit more challenging, bring them further away. And then last movement, we'll be doing leg circles again, but we'll be doing in the opposite direction. So again, we have crunches, leg circles, painful penguins, leg circles in the opposite direction. We're doing 3 rounds of those, of 20 seconds of work, followed by 10 seconds of rest. So let's go ahead and get started with those crunches in 3, 2, 1. And we want to make sure that we're resetting shoulder blades all the way on the ground before we come up again. And rest. 10 seconds and we have our leg circles. In 3, 2, 1, leg circles. Making these nice, slow, and controlled. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, next we have our painful penguins. Starting in 3 seconds. 2, 1, up. Over halfway. And rest. Okay, now we have leg circles in the opposite direction. In 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And you can always bend the knees if you feel your lower back coming off the ground, and rest, which may happen as you fatigue. You may have to scale down, and that is okay. We want to make sure that we're moving properly. And starting with crunches in 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1, rest. We come up, we have our leg circles next. Good thing we only have crunches one more time. And leg circles. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Painful penguins in 3, 2, 1, up. And rest. Now leg circles in the opposite direction. This is the last movement of our second round. And 3, 2, 1. Nice work. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay, starting our last round. In 3, 2, 1, with crunches. Three, 2, 1, rest. Okay, leg circles in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, 40 seconds of work left. We have our painful penguins, then our last round of leg circles. And 3, 2, 1, up. And rest. Okay, last 20 seconds here. You got it. It's one last push. And in 3, 2, 1. Remember, keeping it nice, slow, and controlled. And 3, 2, 1. Oh, nice work today. Make sure you get a good stretch. You're really focusing on the lower body and that core. My name is Mackenzie. Thank you so much for joining me. We just did an interval workout, and I hope to see you again next week.